So we will start the session and then we can hear from the participant, but just raise your hands if you are you have submitted your request. I can see few people who I know personally and I have seen their names, but rest cool. So I will just start like the session and maybe then we can take, okay, I have directly gone to that slide. Cool. So quickly, this is the announcement of this, the winners, but I just wanted to also talk first about the little bit about the hackathon. We have some judges here, and the purpose of doing this session was we are doing the physical event on 27th, but some of the judges are not going to be there on 27th. So we thought the winner announcement, we should do it online with all the participants as well. And I will just quickly introduce myself, then we can request the judges here who are available with us to also quickly introduce. So I am Mohammad Arshad, 20 years as a data scientist and now founder of the company called Decoding Data Science that is into consulting, academy, and creating the whole 360-degree ecosystem through the community. Over to you, Michael.
My name is Mike Stottleman. I'm the founder and CTO of Falcons AI, and I'm just a huge AI technology enthusiast.
I think Sona is not there. Mohammed Almari.
Yeah, my name is Mohammed Al-Mari. I'm a director of dissemination department at Statistics Center Abu Dhabi, and also the technology investment advisor of His Highness Sheikh Saeed bin Khalifa Al Nahyan. I've been in the technology field for the last 31 years, starting from mainframes till now, building platforms which is related to data science and implementation of AIs.
Thank you, Talal.
Hi, my name is Talal Sheikh. I'm an associate professor at Heriot Watt University. I mainly specialize on AI and robotics here, and I'm also the director of undergraduate studies over here. I've been interested in AI, and we have been doing some quite interesting stuff. And I can see some of the students here or people here on this list, some of them whom I already know. So it will be quite interesting.
Yeah, Waji. Waji, can you hear us? You cannot. I think he's here.
Sorry,
right?
guys, I was muted. So, sorry, I was muted. Vaji here. So, guys, I'm an industry veteran like Arshad himself, like over 18 years of experience. It's mostly been software and machine learning and AI. So, I'm more of a hands-on guy, and I do independent consultancies as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. So quickly about I know most of you know about the hackathon, but just for the people who are joining as an audience, this hackathon was about facial emotion recognition, and here the main challenge was to create a model. And here it is the most important part is creating a model, right? Not using API calls, to create your own simple model where you can test it for 5 to 10 seconds videos where you can detect emotions: happy, sad, surprise. There are 7 types of emotion. So these were the timelines. If you can quickly see the timelines, we officially launched it in our meetup. The challenge was released at 31st. The submission deadline was at 12 o'clock. The winner announcement was supposed to happen online on Discord, but we are doing this today on 12th of June in front of everyone. And the official award ceremony that is going to be there on the 27th June in Coders HQ Emirates Tower in our monthly meetup that is there. So now about this objective of this hackathon was more of how you can develop an efficient facial emotion recognition system using OpenCV, TensorFlow, and the data set was given and we gave the source of the data set to start using it and creating it. And the purpose of this initially was to achieve accuracy, low latency, and minimal computational overhead, so that we can replicate that and we can see a quick demo of your application by taking a 5 to 10 seconds video and how you are analyzing the facial emotions that are there. So this was the major objective. And the evaluation criteria was accuracy, but because of the the systems, we could not replicate the code in our environment, and we could not see the direct thing. That's why we looked at model structure. Exactly how have you built the model? Starting from this, we will discuss after the call. We'll have a discussion about this, about how you took the data, how you did some data balancing or data cleaning. That these are some of the steps that are not told, but supposedly we need to also take care of, and which we will have an open discussion about. Then how did you train the model? What was the criteria that you took into consideration, and how much epochs you used, and all the other parameters. Then we had the code structure and documentation, which is we discussed, the judges discussed in our earlier calls, that this is very important, specifically in work and in these type of events, right? Because end of the day, how you are wrapping your whole project, it should work. That is the minimum thing, that it should work. Like, that's why we requested the demo. It should work, but how have you packaged it so that the judges can see and understand and analyze? Because you are not just creating a piece of code and just running it. You need to also structure it in a way that other people can understand, and that is very, very important. And about your demo, how did you do the demo, and how did we try to replicate it? That is there. So before I move to before I move to the price distribution and everything, we want to understand from people, like Michael, do you want to add anything? You want to hear from the participants here how they approached the problem, specifically we were discussing, right, the data part, the model structure part, and how did they start their process, their journey. And then we will go a little bit in the prize announcements. What do you say?
Right. So I think for me, it's just, I would like to hear from the participants what they learned, what they saw, the difficulties they encountered. So
Yeah,
to Mohammed's point previously, the whole, purpose of this was to give you real world experience. And I think, when we're having discussions with the judges, a lot of us were of the understanding that in the real world, you don't get all the clean, pretty data. You don't get everything packaged nicely. So that was one of the key criteria that we looked for was how you handled the initial data set, right? And what did you learn on going through the steps? So that's kind of what I would like to hear from the participants.
yeah, sure. So I can see there are 5 or 6 people who have raised their hands, who have participated and submitted. Do you want to unmute and just share your experience, and then we will talk more about. Then we don't want to. Then we will do the prize, because prize and this thing is the last. The most important part of this journey is the learning part, and how you have gone through this exercise, right? Because we have seen so many solutions, and we want to hear from all of you, because whoever have stood for us, whoever have submitted the final the demo and the code and the notebook are all winners, right? Who have completed the whole exercise, because 55 teams actually they enrolled for this hackathon, and we had around only 9 submissions and 5 working demos. So this is a very good achievement from all of the submitters. So uh, anyone wants to unmute and speak, this is a very good platform, because we have all the judges and we have the community here as well. You want to share your experience, your learning from this. I think Murtaza has unmuted. Yeah, go ahead, Murtaza. You wanted to say something? Yes.
Uh, yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Right. So yeah, like I said, this was the first time I worked with computer vision, and it was like a really good experience on especially making the model as smaller as possible so that the inference speed is at the best. So yeah, about the data, we were already provided with very clean data. We didn't have to do anything. We just had to pre-process it, like scale it down. So in my particular case, I had to scale it down to 48 by 48 pixels and then turn it into grayscale so that it could be worked. But usually in the real world, you don't get this much high quality data. You have to like spend a lot of money on getting the right data. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, judges, you have any comments here, or you want to add anything? You want to say something? Or Michael?
No, no, nothing from my end. I think he's right. There's a lot of money. I don't think people understand the ridiculous amounts of money that are spent just on the acquisition and processing and preparing the data to even be able to begin to deploy these models. So the fact that you saw that and you understand that, I think that's really good.
Yeah. anyone else wants to speak, you can unmute, and we'll encourage the people to talk. That will be very good because we want to hear. This is the whole purpose of doing this event. Sohail, you want to speak? Because I think Sohail, you were the one who sent a very detailed demo, right? About how you
Yeah,
had. Yeah, you want to share your experience?
sure. So I had actually two approaches in mind. Usually, whenever I come to hackathons, after getting after looking at the topic, I first research a bit on it. Upon reading further and further, I usually get like a gut feeling, which I follow. But in this case, one of the constraints was, and a valid constraint was the computational overhead. So my initial approach was to try and segment the facial features into micro and macro. So like you'd have subtle movements such as your eyebrows that would be classified as a micro movement, and like very explicit movements such as a smile, uh, usually to do with the lips or the twitching of your eyes, that would be classified as macro. So I was going to implement a ResNet for a resonant feature extraction purely for the micro, and the VLDN and a VLDN approach just for the macro. But the problem with this was the training time required was a lot because I'm training two different deep learning networks. And because of this, even the inference time compared to a regular CNN approach would be much higher as well. So I ended up scrapping this idea to just doing a CNN. I had 40 layers, and I implemented several callbacks to ensure there is no overfitting. Of course, data pre-processing, like Murtaza said, I think a lot of us would have shared similar pre-processing. So this was the approach I ended up doing.
Yeah, that's great. What? Okay, Michael, you have anything you wanted to add? I think. Okay.
No, I think it's great that he realized, once again, Mohammed, we talked about trying to make this as real world as possible. So, to your point about the inference time being a constraint, like that's good because once again, in the real world, everybody's not running on, Google level or Facebook level or Meta level, data centers and compute. So you have to factor in like, time and balance and constraints with compute and inference time and, things like that. So, that's one of the, great things about hackathons like this is you start looking at what are the real world constraints. Like I can't just do this grand, great plan of mine because it's going to violate one of the, constraints or roadblocks or obstacles that, I have set.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about anyone about imbalance? Because this is something that we all the judges were looking at. There was an imbalance in data.
So there was only one person, honestly,
Yes.
there was only one person that actually balanced the data set. And I feel like
Yeah.
I know no one called out the junk data that was also in the data set.
So
So I guess
anyone
I'll
in
let
this, yeah, we know the person, but anyone like did they look at the distribution of the happy faces, like how the data was skewed towards one particular emotion? And don't you think that that is a problem in the that you need to look at? Just wanted to know your thoughts. I know the time was less, but these are some of the things that are there. I think Vedant is unmuting, and he was the person who saw this and he was trying to do something. Yeah, you want to go ahead, Vedant?
Yeah. So essentially for this question, initially I noticed the distribution didn't pay much attention, but then when I tested the models, I realized there are like certain emotions where it's catching it very easily, and then there's certain emotions where it's simply not like realizing what the emotion is. So then I went back to the data and then I analyzed and I saw like, okay, the distribution is skewed and obviously this is affecting the performance. So in the last part, when I was training the ResNet, then I thought to incorporate this class weight mechanism so that accordingly, if they're like emotions like happy have a larger amount of photos, we can balance that with emotions that have lesser number of photos in the data set. So we are not having a skewed data set and it's learning only like features from like happy emotions and then getting skewed toward that aspect. So that I thought was crucial, but even I realized towards the latter end when I actually tested my initial models.
Yeah, actually, but at least you noticed it. Yeah, you noticed it and you try to do something. And this is what I know. These things are So in a hackathon, as we were discussing with Talal also here, if you want to add something, Talal, that we did not explicitly mention it, but these are some of the things that we want people to, this is like bonus points, what we say, right? The bonus, the secrets that are there inside the data, which as a data scientist, you need to find out, and you need to at least tackle it. Yeah. Any of the judges has any comments, Waji, Talal, because Waji also has extensively checked all these results. We have all the participants who have played around and who have submitted. You want to ask them any
Yeah,
specific
I would like
questions?
to say something.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I would
Waji.
like to give, yeah, I would like to give my kudos to Vedant for figuring out the data balancing thing, which was very important, and it's good that he understood that like he said, it was catching some of the emotions much better and the others not, and that was big evidence for him visually that there is something wrong with the data. The only thing is that some of the participants, I guess most of the participants, never looked at the junk data that we had in there. Probably none of them.
Yeah, that is it. Talal, you want to add something or
No, I think Wajid said what I had to say, but the thing is, like, I mean, at least Vedant followed the, let's say, the life cycle of data science project. Yeah, I mean, you keep on testing your model till it at least not only by numbers gives you that feedback, but probably visually. So I think he went the visual approach as well, and then decided that the data set was not balanced, and then tried to sort of adjust the weightage between the different sets of classes. I think disgust was the emotion that had the least number of samples. So I think and usually on a FER data set, disgust is one of the difficult ones to catch in the first place. So but all this comes from experience, so that's good.
yeah, I wanted to know, did anyone use any extra data other, because I know someone when we were talking in the hackathon announcement date, they were talking about using some other data, and also we also saw, right, Michael, someone was trying to use some other data sets or calling some APIs and try to do something other than the data that we gave.
Right, that's a great question. Did anybody try to augment their data? I didn't see any signs of it.
I wait, can you hear me? I don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah, go
my
ahead,
audio.
Vedant.
Okay, I don't know, maybe it's glitching on my side, my bad. Yeah, so I invented data augmentation because previously I'd done like a small course on machine learning and I learned about this technique. So I essentially then you adjust the whole zoom, the shift in the image and all that. So even with the limited data, which was quite abundant in this case, still it's now able to learn more general features in the image, and that improves the performance using the existing data. So that's why I didn't use any extra data. I thought I saw that once I use data augmentation, the model performance is already improving on the existing model and it's working. So that was, I used it in my training process.
Yeah, that's it. Alora, you want to, where is Alora? Was here, she left, or
No, I'm here. I'm here.
yeah,
Hello.
how are you? So tell me your experience, like because you like the personally your submission was, I know you have done the previous hackathon, and you have been you are like a pro in hackathon submissions, because you your notebook, your structure, your code was, we were able to run your code as well. So you wanted to share your experience?
Yeah, sure. So my teammates, Bhavika and Mohammed Ratik, the three of us have experience in AI notebooks and, creating models from scratch. So when we heard of the hackathon, we thought of, we have to make it from scratch, but what architecture should we use? And we all tried different approaches. So we tried making our own architecture, and then we tried following, well-known architectures like Exception and MobileNet. And the struggle there was really, with architectures like Exception, it has 22 million parameters. So it takes such a long time to train. So things like that were definitely influencing our choice on what model to use. And in terms of the hackathon, another struggle we had was when we made the deployment link, we were like, what video should we use to test to see if it's accurate? So we had ourselves found different videos online of different faces, and we were reviewing it to see, whether the model was accurately predicting it or not. But I think one of the things that we really wanted to improve on was the speed of the inference. For when each frame was being processed, we felt that we could still improve on the speed of processing the frame and getting the face inference from that. So we definitely learned a lot during the hackathon. It was a good experience.
I have a question for Arola. Can I ask, Arshad?
Yes.
Would you allow me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
Arola, just one question. In your notebook, probably, I guess, let's say not if it's not even if in your notebook, the image dimensions and the model size. There is a difference between the input layers, right? Like the input layer. If it's too big, do you think will it affect the overall performance of the model? This is just a general question.
So if the input layer image, I think
48, if you have 48 by 48 input, but your model is accepting 224 by 224, do you think it affects the performance of the model?
So my initial impression is I don't think it would impact the performance of the model, but definitely the post-processing to make sure that the image matches the input dimension would affect the performance. But just want to see if my team members, Bhavika or Mohammed, would also like to contribute to this.
Yeah, that's great. Are they there in the call?
Yeah, they're here. They're here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Mohammed just
Did you
unmuted as
want to
well.
answer? Did you want to answer?
Yeah.
We are not putting you on the spot. Actually, this is a learning
Don't worry.
experience, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's learning. Don't worry that if you get it wrong, it's perfectly fine. We're not grilling you. We're just asking it's pretty simple innocent questions.
Got it. Yeah. I do personally believe it does. That's why during data augmentation we actually resize it so that the input layers match.
Can you just talk near the mic? Your voice is not audible.
Oh, okay. I personally do believe that it does matter. Because that's why during the data augmentation we actually uh, input the size of the image from what we're getting, and making a smaller image with like a larger input size for the model would mean that it will look a pure stretch to the model itself. So if it's a bigger image that we're cutting down, that's fine. But I think the opposite is not good.
Yeah, that's to some extent it's correct because the image size actually, I mean, the bigger the image, the more details you have, right? So resizing does affect your model. But anyways, thank you for the answer.
Michael, you want to say something? I think.
No, I mean they're absolutely correct. It all depends on which way you're going, right? So if you start with a larger image that has more detail and you shrink it down, you're fine. But you're kind of adding ambiguity into the images as you expand them out, and blurriness and all sorts of degradation of quality. So that's definitely going to adversely impact what you're trying to accomplish with the inferencing.
Yeah, one thing that I know this is wanted to note, like something that we saw very common, and wanted to also hear from Nihar specifically, because when we are doing this analysis of the submissions, we saw that many of you used chat GPT, and I know that it's not something to be penalized, but just wanted to we were debating this, right? ChatGPT is a tool that every coder will use, but the most of the codes that were generated, or wanted to know, how did you use it? Like you used it to ask a specific module, or you just took the code from that? And because from the way the comments were there, we could see that most of the things were generated from ChatGPT. So wanted to know, anyone wants to share that, how did they do the coding part? How did they take that code from ChatGPT or Copilot or any of these tools? Yeah, Nihar is unmuting. Nihar was the only person that we feel that did not use much of ChatGPT. Yeah, go ahead, Nihar.
So for us, no, what happened was first we didn't have a GPU, so we were using CPU for training the model. So that was one of the biggest issues. So when we first trained the model, it was like almost negligible accuracy. So like we were pretty sure like some of the parameters were wrong for us, like what we were using for training the model. So like probably we used over there like which were the correct parameters like to clarify the images and all. That is where we had to go to the AI course. And another problem was was there any way to like decrease the what do you say the training time? Because after training, like we had minimum 20 to 25 epochs were needed to at least have like a proper accuracy, and like or if we can have like multiple devices train it and then combine multiple models, because like practically this was like a first machine learning hackathon for us.
Nice.
So like for the parameters and all, we went to ChatGPT.
Yeah. So you tested everything line by line. This is what we saw when we were doing the modeling part. You were for everything that you were checking one by one everything, and then that was something that was very different. And I wanted to hear from someone that who use ChatGPT, right? I wanted to hear their experience. Like, how did you get the code, and what was your approach? Because this is very important, right? These tools are, no one is going to say that you can't use it, but how you use it is important. So just wanted to know this structure. And I think, Michael, you wanted to add something, like you were not able to replicate Sohail's notebook, even though Sohail had ran his notebook on his system and he shared us the demo, but we were not able to replicate in our local environment. And
Correct.
Something that was missing, which we don't know exactly. Maybe the way the code, the package of that particular code that he used, that is what I think, right? The library that suppose he has used.
Well, I mean, it's any number of issues, but so I always look at software development, especially when it comes to like hackathons and stuff like this, like science projects, right? In order for your science project to be valid, it has to be, repeatable by others. And so I think that's kind of one of the things that, struck me is when I couldn't replicate, just download, create my new environment based on the requirements that you had in your GitHubs, and then just run the code from there. So that was kind of, one of the things that was kind of threw me off. I do understand that, certain constraints and certain environments have different problems. So that was another thing that I wanted to ask, like, what was the standard? I would like to hear like what the standard setup was for a lot of you to run these models on. Like, I mean, I'm assuming you were on your laptops and everything, but and I'm assuming they're not, ultra high end laptops. But I'd like to know like what kind of the average specs were. But before anybody chimes in on that, the dead giveaway for anyone using ChatGPT, and so everyone in here has had a decade or more of development experience. A dead giveaway that you've used a code editor or a code completion tool is commenting. Like that is the dead giveaway, because nobody that I've ever worked with codes the way or comments the way ChatGPT does. And the other judges on the panel may want to chime in here and tell their experiences. But when you have line by line commenting, I've never met a single developer in my life that comments every line of their code the way ChatGPT does.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, yeah. I want to chime in real quick. No, we do comment, but you can tell them apart, like if it's like a human comment or if it's done by ChatGPT. Like I sometimes even write. So one of the things in Python I always do, or I suggest all the developers do as well, you should always have these blocks where you tell what is supposed to do and what parameters. Yeah, doc strings, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But line by line, I've never met a developer that actually every line of the code is commented. I haven't met one.
but we were supposed to have more hackathons. Why did you give this tip away? Come on.
Oh.
So the thing is, Talal wants to say something. Talal, go ahead, Talal.
It's not only the developers, but also the students who are learning. They never comment that way, even after being told to. So,
Agreed.
Yeah. So the thing is, you guys are, it's a very big learning. So all of you who are in this call, and if you are working, going to work, and if you're using even ChatGPT related codes, then remove the comments, line by line comments, and you can put, as Michael was saying, like block comments, like what the whole block is doing. Because no one, see, the purpose of ChatGPT giving you comments is for you to understand that. It is not for you as a user to understand that and code and put it on the production, but not to keep it like that, right? For the other person to see. It will look very, it will not look professional. So this is one thing. It's a very big learning, that to remove that and put it, remove the comment, and for your understanding the comment is there, then you can put it on the block, like what is this particular function doing, and for understanding, not line by line, that you, this is doing XYZ. So just wanted to know from any of the people, from Murtaza, Saif, Amal, Zafar, it's fine. If you want to share your experience, how did you use it, the code, from where did you get the code for the running the model, and what was your steps that you wanted to do? It's a learning experience for all of us. It is, and everyone is using these tools. It's not that we are not using it, but just wanted to know your thought process. If anyone wants to unmute and speak. Nihar, I know he did it himself, but Alora or Sohail, if you want to unmute and answer Michael's question as well regarding the environment, right? That is very important as well. Alora had did it. Credits to her, because she had given the different versions and different packages, so it was easy for Michael to run it. But for the others, because there is a lot of dependencies, right? What is the version that you are using? Python version, PyTorch version, OpenCV version, and those things are important. Like if you use a older version, it may run in your system, but if you use the new version, it may not. We will not be able to replicate those things. So that's why packages and the versions.
Especially the versioning, Mohammed.
Yes.
Especially if you've had any familiarity with TensorFlow, the versioning with TensorFlow mixed with Keras is very tricky. It's very finicky, I'll say.
I think no one wants to answer. We are not putting anyone in spot.
No one's on the spot.
Yeah. At least you guys are studying. Yeah, Sohail, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you have unmuted. Yes.
Yeah, about the dependencies and the versioning, it actually slipped my mind. I should have had a requirements txt with the proper virtual environment set up. So that's something I'll keep in mind for the next ones. I had deployed it though and shared the live link. In the README document, it was attached at the top, so that anyone would be able to use the website even if they're not able to set it up, use my application even if they're not able to set it up on their system.
Yeah, that's great. So, Suhail, so I know you are in which year, which college, and which year?
Heriot-Watt University. I'll be graduating next month.
Next month.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Great. So anyone else wants to add? I do not hear anything from Amal, Zafar, Saif.
Actually, I'll go
Yeah.
next. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead, Bhavlika. Yeah.
So, we've worked in teams very often, and I've always noticed that there will be a lot of errors, especially with dependencies. So for me, at least, it's kind of like a normal thing to create a requirements.txt file to make sure that we can at least run the code, at least within the team, not just for an external person. And for ChatGPT, I think when it comes to very simple code like the Streamlit app or just making the initial template, I think GPT is very helpful because it saves so much of time. Then we don't have to write the redundant code again and again. So yeah, even for the model, I think like making the generator or initializing the model or just creating a simple block, we can use GPT and then add on to it. And I think that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, I think yes. So you are from Alora's team, right?
Yes.
The team. The name of the team is FAIC.
Right.
What is the full form of FAI.C? Is there any full form, or it is FAIS?
I think Alora can answer that.
So it's supposed to be like a pun, like facial recognition, but the A is AI since we're using
Oh, that's great. That's great.
like FAI face.
Yeah. So this is one thing. This is what I like what Bhavika told, because she made sure that someone in the team, like she had a requirement file because they had a team of 3 people, right? Alora's team, they had 3. So one person has ran the code. They have to make sure that the requirement file, as Michael is telling, with the version and with the verb, all the details were there, so that suppose if Bhavika made, Alora can also replicate it. That Sohail was single. He was alone in the team, right? So he did not think so much about that version part. Nihar, I'm not sure what was your take, because Nihar was experimenting a lot, and he did not. He also had a team of 3. I wanted to know from your thoughts, Nihar, like about versioning and all those things about replicating it. Did you have anything in mind? Because there were 3 of you who were working on this project. That's why I wanted to hear how did you go ahead with this.
Yeah, I mean that did not click in our mind at that time for versioning and all. Because like we had just divided the task that one of us will do the Streamlit part, so like they just needed the Streamlit module, and one of us who will train the model will give it to them. So like 2 of us were on the training side, and one of them was for the Streamlit. So like we didn't think about replicating the requirements and all that time.
And I think Vedant, you were also alone, right? You were also, you did it alone as well, and
Yeah, so for me, actually, I always create like a virtual environment and requirements for my personal projects. But since I was alone till like the last deadline, I was like training my model, trying to use the Streamlit, keep on testing. So then in that kind of rush, it just slipped my mind to like upload everything and then also create like a requirements. But usually I do it just in as a single person, managing all of it. Like it slips my mind.
that's fine. That's great. Michael and the judges, Muhammad, Waji, I think she has not joined. You want to add any questions, any comments before we move forward? Yeah, go ahead, Waji.
I guess that's it. We've spent a lot of time. I guess that's it from my side.
Yeah, that's. Let me hear from Michael, and then yeah, go ahead, Michael.
No, I think for me, the only thing left is, from since you guys were the actual participants, what do you think could have been done better, or how could we have, better executed from our end? Like what would you like to see in the future that would make this more engaging? What types of projects would you like to be presented with?
Okay, before this, just one more question to, I think, the students is who uses Docker for just running different environments or working with Jupyter notebooks and stuff like that?
I have used it before.
Did anyone use Docker?
Not for this hackathon, but I do use it for some projects from time to time.
All right.
Suhail
Yeah.
is unmuting. Yeah, go ahead, Suhail. You were trying to tell something?
Yeah, I said that I haven't used it for this hackathon, but I have used it for various projects from time to time.
Wonderful. I'll just share like a quick tip. Basically, for this one, I think you needed to create a Streamlit app, so of course that won't be applicable here. But generally, I think for a lot of experimentation and shipping your entire, even you can use you can ship the entire application with Docker as well. I'd urge you guys to look into these different. There are these different environments like Docker environments which you can use and directly just spin up the entire ML infrastructure. And if you're sharing that with someone, let's say you put together a notebook that has different visuals in it, you can actually share the entire thing with other people.
Yeah, actually, Zishan, the requirement of this was to keep it simple because it was a 2.5 days hackathon. So Docker is something that we will not expect there, because it was just to create the model. The main thing was model and then putting it on Streamlit so that quickly. And Docker will be another, I know it will be another level of expertise and time to put it and deploy it. If people who know that, it is good for them, but we kept it simple for this hackathon. But I wanted to hear from Vaji, and then we can hear some comments to improve this hackathon.
Just one more thing I would like to add. I mean, in terms of hackathon participants and overall experience. I mean, because like I've done a lot of software programming and I've done a lot of code development myself. I love clean code. So my suggestion, or let's say my advice to the participants, or maybe next time for the hackathon, is that we should have some standard for I mean, let's say accepting a good piece of clean code. it's quite important. I mean, for this hackathon, I understand it, the time was short, so you had to hack a lot of things, right? So it's a hackathon in that sense. But whoever can come up with a clean piece of code, I think that's very valuable. Down the streams, once these young men and women graduate, once they go into the industry, they'll see that unless they have a good piece of code that's refactorable, or they can work on it, or somebody understands it after they have left the company or two, it's really it's going to be frustrating for them to also read code that's not humanly readable or not maintainable or in that sense. So my 2 cents are: anytime you guys write code, write it nicely, write it cleanly, as if you're explaining it to yourself. Thank you.
Yes. I wanted to hear from Muhammad Almari, at least his comments, because he's waiting for he's in Korea and it's very late for him. I just wanted to hear some of his thoughts, and then we will go to the winner announcement. You wanted to, yeah, go ahead, Muhammad.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. Based on what I have seen and also what I have heard here for the answers and the contribution of participants and from my colleagues as a judge, I think this is I would consider it as a great journey for all of us to learn about how we can make the hackathons more dynamic, more efficient, and also more knowledgeable in sharing the knowledge and experiences, and also sharing our solutions. I think it's good that we have seen the participants. They have gone through multiple, a variety of environments, variety of tools, variety of way of thinking. Okay, which is, I think, that's the purpose of this hackathon, to understand more ideas and put all the thoughts together, and we can identify what will work, what will not work. So I'd like to thank each one by name, from participants, from my colleagues, and also special thanks to Muhammad Arshad. He's the guy who is always available to answer my questions from time to time. So thank you all for that, and have a great day.
Thank you, Muhammad Almari. Yeah, before as I want to hear before I announce the winners, that is because winning is one part, but this is our third hackathon we are doing as the community. Alora has been part of 2 of the hackathons, and we wanted to hear, because now you guys are old in the community, because we want to keep doing this regularly, and you know the benefits. Alora, also you might know the benefit that 5 of the people who were I just met one of on yesterday event. I met one of the person who won the AI Co hackathon, the second hackathon. Sadia, I will mention it to you as well. And not 3 people joined, 2 more people joined. So total 5 people from that hackathon winning team. Niripesh, Noor, and one more person I met. They hired 2 more people. So total they hired 5 people from this last hackathon event, and this is a very good opportunity, so for all of you to practice and also get into the the limelight. Like, now we know that who are the people who are submitting, and we know their skill levels, and this is very important, right? You have this, you get in the eyes of the leaders, and the last hackathon was a very good example of hiring. This hackathon was not sponsored by any company. Michael here, so most of the credits will go to Michael, because he is the computer vision guy, and he helped design all the use cases and everything. I especially thank Michael, and we are personally wanted to hear some of your suggestions, so that the next hackathons that we get will be better and more impactful, not only for you but also for something for the UE ecosystem as well, because we are part of this ecosystem, so we need to do something that also benefits this ecosystem as well. So we wanted to hear from one of you before, especially to Michael's point. So Alora, you want to add something, because that will be great from your side. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So me and one of my teammates, Bhavika, we had also done the AI Co hackathon, and one thing we really enjoyed from that one is that it was kind of a week to work on it. So it gave us time to do research and try out different things and put more time into refining. So I think it would be great if next hackathon could also be like a week-ish to work on it.
Ah.
That makes sense. But the reason I think we didn't do it like that is because Muhammad specifically asked me for like a real world scenario. And a lot of times, like you won't have to, build a model from scratch, but you'll have to jump in and fix a broken model. And you don't have, a week and there's no time for research. It's, hey, this has to be fixed right now. Our model's live, it's breaking. So that's kind of like what you're saying makes perfect sense. And I get that. But in the real world, solutions break all the time. And so it's kind of like you have to do stuff on the fly. So that's the only reason that I didn't push it for that number of days.
Alora's feedback is nice. And also, we also got the feedback when we were doing a discussion. They had around 7 days, but most of the work that the participants did was in the last 2 days. Even for that hackathon, I know we had talked to many of the participants. So they did research for 5 days or for 4 days, and the actual work, hands-on work, started 3 days. And this was the thing and why we selected 3 days also was the reason was Friday morning, because weekend is there. Some people are working, some people have other work to do. Weekend is something where people have time, and that is what we did. But we can next time we can be a little more flexible in time, maybe 4 days. But this was our thinking to optimize the time required that is there for this algorithm. Anyone else wants to give their comments about how to improve, what are the things that they need to do? Yes, go ahead, Suhail.
I think next time maybe a proper description document would be helpful, because I remember in between the hackathon there was some confusion regarding the deadline to upload and also the data that can be used. So I think next time it would be better if everything was laid out in a document and sent to everybody rather than like Discord channel.
Okay. Okay, that is. But we had someone is
please go ahead.
speaking. Yeah, go ahead, Bhavika. Yeah.
So I think a proper specification doc would also be helpful, so we know what you expect.
Okay, 1 second.
So that
Specification doc in the sense?
like what do you expect exactly, in the sense if you want
like a typical software development requirements document?
Exactly, yeah. Because that would be easy for us, so we know what to focus on and what not to focus on. Because we were not really sure what exactly was expected from us.
Just adding on to Bhavika, I think in between I was troubling Waji a lot. Like I was constantly messaging him on Discord, like, "Hey, like, is this what I'm supposed to do? When am I supposed to submit it?" And he very kindly answered all my queries throughout everything. It's just that I remember initially the deadline was set to be 12 p.m. and then it was later rectified that it's actually 12
It was
a.m.
midnight. Yeah, that was a typo. I agree. It should have been written midnight. That was a typo because midnight, and I mentioned it midnight a couple of times, but in the text it was written as 12.
Yeah, I think it got lost somewhere in the messages.
Yeah.
But
But
overall,
okay.
I think it was, especially like whenever I had a query, the fact that people responded and answered me, it meant a lot.
Other than the deadline, actually we mentioned 3 things. If you see, Michael and me documented 3 things that were there, right? You needed to create the model. The data set was given. We had given the link of the data set as well. And third thing was we mentioned it to deploy it on the web. These were the 3 things that were given, and this was our main requirement, like model, and it should be deployable and we should be able to run it. That was the main thing that we required from all of you. And yeah, we kept it very simple. We did not want to like create an elaborate document, but maybe next time, yes, we can be a little more specific. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Michael? Yeah.
But so once again, Muhammad tasked me with, some kind of real world scenarios. And I understand that, you guys are in school and there's an expectation that you're going to kind of get, spoon-fed specific requirements. And in certain companies, depending on the lifeline of the project or timeline of the project, you're going to have, a BA go to the client and flesh out your requirements document, and you'll have a design doc and all of this stuff. But I think if you start working with clients and you start getting out into the real world, you start really seeing how dirty and how messy the process is. And you have these constraints and there is ambiguity. So I will give Suhail much credit, the fact that you actually reached back out. The other question I had was, did any of you reach out to any of the other teams?
Not really.
I guess not. I guess not. Nobody.
Nobody. No, that the purpose of creating the Discord channel was to discuss, and
There it
as
is.
someone was telling, right?
There it is.
Suhail.
There it is.
Yeah, main
Right.
purpose of the channel was to discuss all the team and people who submitted. Most of the people who submitted, who were active, they were in Discord. They were talking, and they were, as I told you, right? 55 teams actually submitted, signed up for the hackathon, but only 9 submissions happened, and 12 people forked our repo. So 12 people actually tried the hackathon, and only 9 people submitted. So this is the waterfall number. But for us, the main thing was everyone who tried, that was, they are benefited from this whole ecosystem, and you will learn every time you do. And we also got some feedbacks, and we wanted to keep it little bit, as Michael is telling, right, real time. There was some okay, for one thing that I admit, that midnight thing was a typo, but other than that, things were little bit laid out. But it is good that it is a learning experience. And
Right.
any questions?
So some of the other judges can chime in as well. But
Yes.
when you start working in organizations, certain assets are spread throughout the company. And so when you're developing these solutions, you may have to reach out through Slack or Teams or whatever to kind of wrangle these other, parts and pieces that are going to go into this end solution. So I think that's why Mohammed, was kind of forcing everyone to go through the Slack. I'm sorry,
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, and I was actively looking at the Discord. That I was actively looking at the Discord, and I really thank Vaji.
And if you remember, I put a Jupyter notebook out on Discord to help with the data prep and management.
Yes,
I didn't give all the secrets, but it was some things to kind of help
But
clean
cool.
some stuff.
I think we have 2 more minutes. I'll quickly. So this is quickly talk about the prizes. So whoever participated, thanks a lot. But as this is we had a very tough decision, all of the judges. The results were very close. We discussed, but we had the 3 criterias. We had a rubric system. We gave score accordingly. And I will the prizes that are there for the first prize is the AI residency that we are going the track. So the person will be getting access to that, and a physical book on the day of the 27th. So I think all of you are from UAE.
Arshad, can you go full screen? Sorry, can you go full screen, please?
Go full screen. You can see. Is it better now, Vaji?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cool. So this is the thing. The second prize will be a 1 year of AI Guild member, worth 160 plus a book from Michael. So he has written this book. So he'll be giving this book on the 27th. And the third prize is for the team. This is for each member of the team, right? 6 months AI Guild membership and the book from physical book on that events day. So this is the prizes that we have. And the third prize, and it was a very tough competition with all of the judges. We worked together and we finalized this particular thing. So the third prize goes to the team hackathon. The captain was Nihar Gandhi, and this is the team Nihar, Trisha, and Asishta. I know Nihar is here, but I don't know about the rest. But Nihar, are you in the UAE? Are you in Dubai?
Yeah.
So please do get in touch and do come for the physical event on 27th. And thanks a lot for your participation and for your thing. You want to say something before we move to the second?
No, it was just a good experience, but this was practically the first hackathon that we participated in a long time, and in our first year of college. So it was a good experience. And
okay, which college are you guys from?
RIT and Murdoch.
Oh, nice. So your other team members are here? I don't see they are here, right?
No, they are still at uni.
Okay. Okay, the second place, this is the team that from Team Face from Alora, Mohammad Ratik, Bhavika and Alora. and congratulations. You want to say something? Any one of you?
Yes, I'd like to say that we're really surprised and really happy. I'm glad you guys really liked our demo.
Yeah, you guys, you are experienced now. This is your second hackathon, so you should help us now organizing the next hackathon. You should be in the helping us, giving your feedbacks and everything. But thanks a lot, Alora and the team. And do, if you guys are in the UAE, please come on the 27th of June, and we will talk. The team will also personally reach out to you as well.
Yes, definitely, sure.
And the first winner goes to from the MLX team, Suhail Ahmed. And this was a very tight discussion. Initially, before we all thought Alora will be the first place, but after we saw Suhail's demo, he sent a 5 minutes demo explaining his whole code plus the documentation, right? I wanted to know, Suhail, from you, your experience. Did you use ChatGPT to do all the documentation?
No, no, I didn't. I'm actually notorious in my university as well to over-explain everything. I remember for one of my courseworks, I explained what a for loop is in the code. So unnecessary, but I tend to over-explain everything a lot. So because of that, my documentation was comprehensive.
No,
And I
this
guess
is
gave me
what
the
all
edge
of
in
us
this.
like as I said, right? It was very close competition. Alora was, because her code was, we were able to replicate it. Your code was giving some issues, but the way you documented it and you gave the 5 minutes video of explaining everything and showing the demo, and also the thing, right, Pankal, you mentioned about the frames, the slider that he had, which was not
That slider was
yes.
spectacular. That actually went through each frame and showed you the inference per frame. That was an extra touch of genius. I have to give you credit, full credit for
Thank you
that.
so much. Thank you. Thank you
That
very
was
much.
really, really.
Actually, this was a very close competition. Like we had for all the places we had a lot of discussion, and we took all the from the 6 judges we took a point system, and it was a little bit interesting to see your final thing that is there. Thanks a lot, Sohail, and do come if you are there in UAE on 27th June, and as well, and the team will also get internally in touch with you. And we have a special mention. This was decided because, as we were discussing earlier, we have a special mention to FutureX, Vedant's team, because he was the person who went extra mile and he captured the problem in the data. And we don't have a fourth prize as such, but we wanted to give him a special mention and a 3 months AI Guild membership as well. But this is why, because of his, he gave some time, and he noticed the issue in the data, and to at least try the class imbalance and do something about it, the weights, to make sure that he was able to do that. So Vedant, you want to add something?
Yeah, no, it was my first hackathon, so it's a great experience. And I'm still in school, so I'm still learning and hope I appreciate your special mention.
Which grade?
I'm in 11th. I'm about to start.
So you're the youngest participant. Yeah,
Are
you
in
want to say
11th?
something?
Yeah.
No, I am surprised. I didn't know that. I mean, very,
That
very
is
good.
impressive.
Kudos.
That is impressive.
That's why
Impressive. For your
that's
age, it's impressive. I'm sure. But I'll just say one thing: you will never be bored with coding throughout your life. I'm pretty sure of that. But good job, Vedant. Thank you for letting us know you were in the
good job,
11th grade.
Vedant. Yes, do come to that event physically on 27th, and that's why we wanted to give a special mention to you. All the judges thought that you have to get a special mention about all these things. So I think we are over the time, but thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. Michael, you want to say some final words before we depart, and any of the judges want to say the final words?
Now, thank you again for everyone for competing and trying and learning. I feel like this is important, that the more people that understand the nuances and the mechanics of developing and deploying these models, we all get better. So thank you so much for your contributions and the fact that you're curious and you want to learn and expand your knowledge set. You literally are contributing to a better society, because the more of us that understand AI, the more of us will be able to decipher what's coming out of big tech and things like that. So
yes, thanks a lot. Waji, Mohammad Almari, any of the judges want to share something before we officially call out the...
No, thank you very much, guys, everyone, for the participants, all of you peers. Thank you very much.
Talal, you want to say something? If Talal, because many of you are from your college.
No, I'm just happy. But then just to be fair to all the participants, it was just not one person making the decision. It was a group of jury members who collectively decided what needs to be graded and at which points where each team had to be given. So I think it was all a fair and square judging process, and all moderated by Mohammed and Michael all together. So it was good. I think there are some learnings for both the sides, both organizers and the participants here. So I think overall it's good, and of course it'll get better as we go ahead.
Yes, yes. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Talal. I know it's very late for Mohammad Almari, but everyone have a great day. Do try to come on the 27th June. We will have, this was a very good event. I think all of us came together. We announced the, on Discord, it would just have been a announcement, but at least we did it. Sadia, you want to say something? You've unmuted. You want to give a final word?
Yes. So I wanted to say, add a point that I think as a community, it's very important for us to keep the channels open, which are very much in alignment with community. So therefore, the reason is for Discord communication, because email chains is something that everybody does it, and we are tech. We're a tech community, so we have to be with the pace and advancement and adopt technologies. So guys, whoever have objections, this is the trend, and if you want to participate with any of our future hackathons, this is the way forward. So please join our Discord community and join our AI community. Be part of this to hear for more updates. Thank you so much for Michael for being part of the organization as and running and executing this hackathon. And thanks the jury members for taking out your time and for sharing valuable feedbacks and judgments. And of course, the participants, without you all, we couldn't have executed this fabulous show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.